Hello there, welcome to Guitar Building with Bass. In this episode we are going to take a break from working heavily on the neck and work on the body instead. Let's get carving. By carving I mean several things. So before we get into carving wood, let's get into all of them. We obviously have the front and the back, and different things are happening here and there. I'm planning to start with the back to be on the safe side because that's not something most people will see or take a look at. So we're going to make it as functional as possible. So at the back we have this here, which is a belly carve. I've worked on the design of camera a little bit, but essentially this is just following the external line with several offsets and a smooth transition. We are going to make a belly carve, somewhat deep, so that it's really comfortable even for the thickest players. And on the front we are sticking to the original design and making this carve for the arm when playing. Obviously this part here is not very much functional, and it just serves the purpose of matching the design of what's happening. Also on the front we have a few cuts here and there. So one cut here and one matching cut here, all sticking to the original design obviously. Now I'm not going to touch these two cars just yet because we have these brittle sharp corners, and I'm not very eager to damage them. So that's why I'm going to carve these two carves only after installation of the neck, to make sure we have very smooth and nice transition and that we don't remove any excess wood. So also one thing I'm planning to do on the front and the back is to take a round over a router bit, which I'll show in a moment, and just go over the whole perimeter of the instrument, because these ends are currently quite sharp, so not nice. We are going to smooth them out and then get to carving. Oh, and one last thing, probably forgot to mention, there is also a carve on this side here. So our left hand gets some excess carve here and at the back. So very functional. It's going to be very nice for the player for the high fret access. It's good already, but we are going to make it even better. And so we're going to start with my most favorite tool, giving me the most favorite results, but at the same time the scariest one, the router. And don't ask why I'm afraid of it. Bad memories. So yeah, I'm going to start with a 1/8 inch roundover bit right here. Let me show it a bit closer to you. So it's right there. It's set up in a way that is, it's not removing extra material and giving just this round corner. So we'll start with that and do this pretty much at the back and in the front. I'm starting in the back just so that I get a bit more familiar with how it works, and it's pretty much straightforward to use. It's just I'm a little bit afraid to use it in these tiny corners here, but otherwise it should be fine. There will be some burning happening on the end grain here, which I will have to use some sandpaper to get rid of a bit later, but that's not something I never encountered. In my previous build that was a normal thing, and it's easily fixable. So let's do that. Okay, that works great. So let me show you the midway results. So we are going from this to this. Very nice and smooth edges. And yeah, I was worried that this will not look nice here, but it's really nice all the way. So now I have to do just the same thing on the other half of the back and the front. So enjoy this little time lapse. Wow, this is the moment when a guitar body really becomes a guitar body. We're essentially going from this to this, and it's so smooth, and it's now so nice to touch it and hold it. That's just amazing. And surprisingly for me, even on the end grain here, well, there is some burning here and there, but generally it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So a bit here as well, but that's all going to go away with just a little bit of sanding. And this is ash, a relatively soft and easy to work with wood, so yeah, that's easily fixable. Let's get on to the fun part, and hopefully no more routing, because again, wonderful results, but a very intimidating little tool. Let's take a look at our carving tool set. This is a Shinto saw rasp, which is a standard on this channel, and you know, if you don't have a Shinto saw rasp, get yourself one. It is just amazing. I have another, just very simple rasp. So this is a semicircle and flat on the other side, and I don't even know what you call this one here. And another set of tools is, I know, not that standard, but very useful. I have my drill and a bunch of attachments like this here. You can buy this very cheaply. Acts essentially like a spindle sander and also very handy in carving. I attached a little bearing from a skateboard wheel here so that I can hold it like so while working on it. In the future I want a handle here, but I don't have it just yet. And this thing here, which is I think mostly used for polishing and all, but with some 80 or 120 grit sandpaper, this is a very powerful carving tool. Also because the ash is a very soft type of wood, so this is also really nice. Also comes with a drill. So let's carve all of the things without any particular reason. For that, I'll start with the left hand axis here. It's a small carve and it's a good way to get into it. When working on things like this, I prefer a kind of a mix between hand tools and power tools. So I'll start with this rasp, which is pretty good for removing bulk of material in tight spaces like this, in round over spaces, and then I'll probably switch to this thing to smooth everything out. But yeah, I'll start with this first and let's see how it goes. If you remember, I'm also going to have a carve on the back, which pretty much will be the same as this one. I think exactly the same as this one. So I'm not planning to go very deep with it, but to just give left hand a kind of a place to sit when playing. And so we got ourselves a very nice little tiny left hand carve here. Oops, let me switch hands to demonstrate it. Yeah, I mean I cannot really demonstrate it from here, but it's a nice little carve, makes it comfortable to play, and also looks very nice from the back. Awesome. I think we can now move on to the belly carve. Belly carve is a pretty big of a carve, so I'll start with a tool that allows me to remove the most material in the shortest period of time. That is Shinto Sorasp. That is the rough side of it. There is also a fine side here, but we're going to do with the rough side. And I mean the process is pretty much the same. You just take an angle and connect two lines at the top and at the side, and you get a belly carve. Simple as that. And yeah, I'm going to put on a glove because I kind of have a habit of touching the sorasp with my finger, which gives me a leverage when working with it, but also, you know, kind of hurt the finger. Well, this is gonna be a lot of work. I can feel it. Yep, this is gonna be a big ton of work. So why don't we time lapse it? That is so foggy today. Do you see the mountains there? Yeah, very foggy today. Well, anyway, I'm roughly done with the belly carve, as you might see here. Turned out very nicely. The surface is really rough, so I was just going to smooth it out, make it as nice as it is here, but the drill suddenly ran out of power, so I had to plug it in over there, and while it's charging I'm thinking to now flip it and do another carve on the front. So here you're very much familiar with the mode of work we are doing. You can think of it as if we are doing the belly carve, but you know, here. So exactly the same thing. We are connecting this line on the front with this line at the back, and I'm going to try to make sure to maintain this kind of line here the same width across, you know, the whole thing. And that's probably, you know, the most difficult part about it. Other than that, just remove a ton of material and make the guitar much more comfortable to play, hopefully more beautiful. So not going to bother you with too much stuff, just enjoy this very nice time lapse. the drill is now fully charged, so let's go ahead and finish this rough surface up to very nice shine like the rest of the guitar. And now the same thing on the front of the guitar, because the surface finish is not as nice just yet, but it will get very nice in a very brief moment. And I slightly changed my mind about these scars on the horns of a guitar. Initially I thought, okay, I'm not going to touch them because I run the risk of ruining these very brittle sharp ends, which I want to look very nice and crisp when I glue in my neck. But I thought, while I'm doing all this carving and all, why don't I just do it now? I essentially masked off the brittle sharp edges here. Well, it's just simply masking tape, but it's at least something, and I'm sure I can handle the tools well enough so that I don't slip. But if I end up slipping, hopefully several layers of masking tape will protect all that. So let's do it. Alright, we have our two, I think, last carves on this guitar. So now I'll just quickly go over both of them with this spindle sander attachment. And ash is a very soft wood, so it's a very fast process to clean it up. And I honestly think we might be done with carving. I hope I'm not mistaken though. Alright, so I was just standing here staring at this guitar for a few minutes, and I realized that this might be it for today. We did some great things. We have our right hand carve, we have our belly carve, we have our left hand carve, and two carves for the horns. And we have the surrounded over perimeter of the guitar. So it's wonderful, it's super ergonomically shaped, so whoever ends up playing this guitar will enjoy it a lot, like a ton. Already imagining playing it in my mind. It's gonna be awesome. Super nice guitar, very happy with how it turns out. So yeah, I'll stop it for today. This is it, let's call it a day here, and yeah, come back whenever the next video comes out for more stuff. I'm still thinking what it will be, but honestly at this stage I think it's all shaping that was need to be done to the body, and have our guitar. I'm thinking we should be gluing in the neck next, or I will change my mind and do a lot of stuff meanwhile, like sanding down the whole thing. Obviously I'll not film sanding the whole thing down. It's a very lengthy process and it's not fun at all. So whenever the fun stuff comes up, I'll let you know. I'll probably need to prepare the body before gluing in the neck. Damn, we might actually stain it before gluing in the neck. So stay tuned, more fun stuff is to come. See ya.